and welcome to Queendom TV. Today I'm going to be starting the first video or the first part of a series of videos I'm going to be doing about the hashtag Free Britney movement. And so basically I'm making this video because I kind of want to prepare people for what's to come. I kind of want people to set themselves for what I'm going to be saying coming in the next days, weeks, potentially months, hopefully not months because hopefully she can get out of the conservatorship, hashtag spoiler alert. But yeah, so that's kind of why I'm starting this. I really feel like this Free Britney movement is really just exposing the fact that, you know, this is a bigger issue, and like it says in the title, you know, I think she is really the rule and not the exception. And it's so funny, like, then this is why I really want to talk about this so much. I'm going to use this to spear off into other conversations as well, because for growing up I always felt like there was something odd about just Hollywood and just children getting so famous, and like I just always had this weird feeling about it, like something feels like something's not right. Like, why are all of these, like, why? And you know, people always used to say like, oh, you know, the celebrities, they do this and they do that, all because of, you know, the fame gets to them and they start taking drugs. But then I'm thinking, but then my logic was kind of saying to me, well, no, because if you are those people still, if you're like Britney Spears, are still on stage performing. You know, if you're an actor or an actress, they're still there on set doing what they have to do and making millions for the people who are in control of them. So I kind of started to think about that from then. And I feel like this Free Britney movement has been an opportunity for us to really acknowledge the fact that this is a wide issue in Hollywood, and it's something that people are purposefully trying to get us to take our attention off of. And I mean, even the fact that she's been in this conservatorship for all this time, the poor woman is literally nearly 40 years old now, and these people have been allowed to get away with it. To me, like, just goes to show how deep and disgusting and just devious some of these things are that we don't know about. And I think we really need to stop acting like, you know, everybody's got our best interest at heart. Like, I have this whole thing where I feel like it just annoys me that we always assume that people have people's best interest at heart, and I don't know why we always assume human beings are always so nice and doing the right thing. And it's like, how many times do we have to be proven wrong before we're going to realize that when somebody says something? And so many people now have stepped up for Britney, who in the past were like, oh, but she was on drugs at the time, or oh, but she was this, or oh, but that. But it's like, you're saying all of that, but did you actually, maybe it's because we keep making all these assumptions, because we want to assume, oh, because that's her dad, of course her dad loves her, or oh, because whatever, like, or maybe she wasn't okay, she needed somebody to look after her money. Again, why couldn't they have just put the money aside until the majority of the money aside, until she was stable, mentally stable? And to be honest, let's just start from there. Dementia. How is it possible that Britney Spears, at the age of, what was it, 26, I think it was at the time, has entered into a conservatorship? Because people are saying, oh, because she was doing all this stuff and because of dangling the baby, driving the baby on her lap and stuff. But that's not what they put her away for. They said that they put her away for dementia. I'm saying put her away because I feel like she's in a form of prison. That's why I'm saying put her away. I know it sounds crazy what I'm saying, but they put her in to this conservatorship, hashtag prison, because of dementia, a disease that affects older people, like people who are much older than she was even at that time, much older than she is even now. And that is what they put in this conservatorship for. And the point I'm trying to make by stating this is, when people are saying and doing all these things, that like putting people in conservatorships and saying whatever they say, they can get away with whatever they want to, because they're all a part of it. They must all be a part of it. Otherwise, how is this working? Because if you ask any, I would love, and maybe, and there are people who are doing it already, speaking to, you know, mental health professionals, health professionals, and people like that, talking about, you know, what's going on with Britney. You know, I would love myself to have a conversation with a health professional and say to them, look, to a doctor or something, is it viable? Is it even that possible that Britney Spears at her age has now and had then dementia? And you know what's funny about them making that comment? This is the same Britney Spears who, even in the last days of her career, before she took a break because she decided she wasn't gonna perform anymore until she, you know, had dealt with things with her dad in the conservatorship, which good for her, by the way, because they've just been taking advantage of her. But even then, she was the one teaching her own dancers the dances in Vegas, in her residency in Las Vegas. So how are you gonna say, on the one hand, that she's not stable enough, like, to look after herself and her own money, and on the other hand, she's doing a residency in Vegas and teaching her own dancers and everything. How does that really make sense? Or you're going to say, oh, she shouldn't be allowed to have her children. And this is why I think people should not be able to have their opinions about others so easily, especially the people they're connected to. And to be honest, I'm even nervous now about the people I'm connected to in my own life because of the Britney Spears situation. Because I'm like, for goodness sake, if people think I've gone mad and if I'm successful now, are people going to try and like be like, oh, we were worried? I mean, obviously I live in the UK, so it's a bit different. It's not so easy. But then again, as was pointed out, I think by another YouTuber, I think it was Sloan, who made a video, and I hadn't even finished listening to it. And he was talking about the fact that, you know, the same courtroom where Britney Spears is having her conservatorship hearings and everything is the same courtroom where they heard, you know, the Michael Jackson case. And we all know with Michael Jackson that, again, it was one of those things where, and this is what really frustrates me about things that happen in Hollywood as well, can I just say? Like, it will happen like, we all know something is true, and then people get away with it in front of our eyes. Like with Michael Jackson, everybody knew that he was basically drugged and killed, but they got away with it in front of our eyes. How? Do you know what I mean? This is the way, when it suits them, when it suits people in Hollywood, and many people have said, I think it was even in Sloan's same video where this was mentioned, that people would actually probably his family would make more money from him being dead than him being alive. So again, I'm just like, what's going on with that? If you want to look at another extreme of that, on the other side of extremes, right? R. Kelly. I remember when I was a child, I remember my dad saying to me, you know, R. Kelly, he's been known to like be a bit of a pedophile or something, he said to me. I remember him saying it to me and me thinking, like even then, you know. And so for me, it's just in a random conversation with my dad to inform me, you know, that actually R. Kelly is not the full ticket, mate. For me to have known that then, and then it took all of these years before R. Kelly was actually, and again, I'm seeing people on social media now being like, oh, I know, are you going to listen to people, we'll start conversations like, are you going to listen to R. Kelly music anyways now that we've discovered whatever, and people are like, oh, but the music is just the music, and I mean, what he did wasn't great, but the music is still so good. And I'm seeing people like, I'm thinking, why do we think people like Britney Spears get failed? Because it's this same attitude of people acting like, trying to make room for art to accept R. Kelly, right? And the same people who are ignoring the fact that, you know, people purposefully, or at least looks like, I'll say allegedly, isn't that what the YouTubers do? Allegedly killed Michael Jackson. And you've got all of these things that have happened, you know, and just because we're choosing to choose the fun, the comfortable side of things, people are getting away with it. And then who are the victims? The people who we actually are looking up to in the first place. Like for me, the reason why I'm so passionate about Britney Spears is because I love Britney. I love Britney Spears. I think she's incredible. I think she's so sweet as a person. I think she's extremely talented and extremely unique. That's why I know a lot of people would think like, how could I be a fan of Britney Spears? Like, you're a Christian gal, like how does that work? Well, I believe, you know, anyways, I think Britney's a Christian girl anyways as well. She talks about God a lot. But anyway, I like Britney Spears. But the thing is, so many of the things that even now looking back and hearing, like, you know, the way that in some of her videos, like if anybody of you who know Britney, like proper like diehard Britney fans, you know the video Anytime. I think it's Anytime or Every Time. I can't remember. I can hear the song in my head, but I can't remember what the name of it was. But either way, the one where she like drowns herself in the bathtub one. I think you'll remember that if I say that. But anyway, in that video, she actually directed that, and she actually did that on purpose. Like, she was already sending out messages, you know what I mean, to us and to her fans. And there's other examples of where she's specifically gone out of her way to try and communicate things to us. And I think, you know, the fact that that was her only way of communication, I mean, thank God that she had some way to say something. And I think that's why a lot of people actually relate to her music, because I think a lot of it's very real. But at the same time, it's like, imagine that was the only way she could actually voice anything. And even then, she's already in and amongst all this conservatorship things. And just imagine how disgusting it is for, like, if you look at the way like Britney Spears is and like everything that she does, and like, you know, she's a very like, a lot of the stuff she does is kind of like on the more sexual side of things, if you will. Like, if you look at a lot of the stuff she does, why would her dad be the one pushing this? Why is her dad the one pushing forth for these types of like, albums and songs and stuff? Like, it just doesn't really make any sense to me. So I'm kind of just disgusted on that note more than anything. But then the deeper part of that is that all of the other adults, and this is what I'm saying to myself, like, when you're seeing these situations, this is how I'm thinking about it. If Britney Spears, when she was a lot younger, is in a situation where she's doing all these things and people can see, because now people are piping up, you know, saying, oh, actually, yeah, I did notice this was going on with Britney 10 years ago, 20 years ago, however long ago, so people knew. How must she feel if when these things are happening to her that are wrong, everybody, all the adults in the room who are standing there are doing nothing about it? And then at the same time, we do the whole like silence is violence. That was the chant of the BLM chant. Or we do the whole, if you see someone getting bullied and you don't step in or say something about it, you're just as bad as the bully. We say all of these things, but then when it comes down to it, we're doing the same thing because people are not saying something. People are not standing up. People are not saying, no, we need to go. The reason why Britney's even getting this far with this movement now is because so many people are speaking up about it. So the people who want to just, you know, keep silent, who are getting paid off probably from her same estate now, are the same ones who are having to say, look, no matter how much money you pay me right now, because of how much attention is coming to this situation at this moment in time, there's no way that I'm going to be able to just do what I was doing before and ignore stuff. There's no way I'm going to be able to keep denying all of her requests because the whole world is now watching. And this is what I mean. The strength is always with the people. The power is always with the people. Like the way that we are today, we let people have way more power than they actually have. We let people distract us and make them think they're more powerful than they are. Because in reality, Britney's dad is one man, you know, and her family, they're a few bunch of people. A whole bunch of other people coming against this makes a difference. No matter, the majority always wins. That's why even in government, what do they aim to have? Majority. What are they fighting for? Majority. Because having your foot in the door is not enough. Being a small minority is not enough. But when you have a big group of people, then you have a voice. And I think this is why when these things are happening, it's just saddening that, you know, and I'm so happy and I'm so proud of everybody in the Free Britney movement. Shout out to everybody in the Free Britney movement. Well done to all of you. There are so many people in the Free Britney movement who are so much more dedicated than I am at this point, and I'm just so happy for you. I'm praying for all of you. May God bless each and every one of you. May He protect you, keep you safe, strengthen you in everything that you're doing. In Jesus' name. And I just really I'm so proud to even be a part of this movement, because I'm like, finally, if people are doing something about something, and even if it's just speaking up, even if it's just making a video like I'm making a video, even if it's just resharing a post on Instagram, even if it's like, you know, logging on and listening in to what's happening, because you know how powerful it is when there's just so many people doing one thing. It causes people to pay attention. Even the news outlets that back in the day wanted to be like, oh well, Britney's just another one of them celebrities where blah blah blah, they're having to pipe up now because they're realizing, whoa, there's all these people behind this thing. Now we're paying attention to it, and now we're realizing there's a lot behind what she's actually saying, you know. So that's kind of just how I want to introduce this whole subject, because I really believe that Britney is the rule, not the exception. And there's so many other stories coming out. You've got Jeanette McCurdy, you know, has spoken about her experience on set with the Dan Schneiders of the world, you know, and that's just one example. There's so many different examples, you know, of people. I think Amanda Bynes is in a conservatorship as well right now. So there's her as well. There's all these different people who have been in the spotlight, all these people who we loved watching. A lot of us, we loved watching them when we were children. I think that's why we're kind of passionate about it now, because it's like, wait. Who's messing with my childhood celebrities? Like, what's going on here, you know? And so a lot of us are in support of this because of that. And I think with the more that's coming out, the more we're realizing what was really going on behind closed doors, and how talented these people are. Because I mean, God bless every single one of these childhood stars. They have done so well, you know. I mean, even Demi Lovato came out now. She's come out with a whole bunch of things that were happening on the set of Camp Rock. And again, the fact that at the time people were discrediting what she was going through, saying to her like, oh, what's like, she's saying that she's going through stuff at 16, and they're like, oh, what do you know about relationships at 16? And like, yeah, well, I'm actually being, you know, abused in that area. I'm being abused in that area at the moment, you know. It's just horrible. And I'm saying in that area because, you know, this is YouTube, and, you know, I'm not even sure what I'm allowed to say. I'm a noobs around here, guys, hello. But you know what I'm talking about. You know, the thing that's just the lines you're never supposed to cross with anybody apart from a consenting adult. You know what I'm talking about. And people were just discrediting her. And so I just think these guys were so strong to go through all these stuff. Britney is so strong to have stayed through this. I mean, you know, sometimes when you compare it to some of the things in life, you know, that sometimes you can complain about, you just think, imagine being like her and having had all of that that pressure on you. And that's not to discredit anybody else's pain, by the way. We all go through stuff, and everybody's stuff that everybody goes through is valid. I really believe that, by no joke. But it's just to say that, you know, sometimes we downplay just how strong people actually are. And I feel like in that way, Britney Spears was failed among many other people. And so that's why I really want to get into not only her conservatorship and everything like that, but also kind of link that in with things that go on with the other celebrities, the other childhood stars as well, because I think it's really, really important. And for me, I'm very passionate, like I'm very, very passionate about, you know, the creative arts industry. It's an industry that I work in, that I love, and it's sad to see that so many people just doing what they love are just being taken advantage of. And I'm not going to be one of the people to just sit there and not say or do anything about it. And so I'm going to do my best to do both of those things. And yeah, so stay tuned. There's going to be so much coming about this whole topic, and please let me know if there's anything you want me to specifically address. Like, send me a comment, write a comment at the bottom of my video. Please subscribe, please like the video if you like it, and please let me know, like, if there's like I said, if there's something specific you want me to talk about, if you have any thoughts, if you agree, if you disagree, please let me know, because I think as long as we're talking about things, as long as we're bringing light to things, we're going to be moving forward. And the more that we do that, the better it's going to be for these people, and the better it's going to be for the future of anyone. Because now I'm concerned, like, I wouldn't really want to take my child to Hollywood right now, you know, knowing what goes on there. So yeah, I just really, really appreciate you if you've watched this whole video. Hashtag Free Britney. I'm part of the movement. I'll be praying for Britney and the movement and everything like that. And yeah, feel free to check out my other videos if you're interested. Thank you so much for tuning into my video, and I'll see you next time.